So you've seen that it's possible to progressively scale an item, okay, and the same actually applies to rotation. We can tell an object to rotate just a few degrees at a time and then use that Command D shortcut to simply nudge rotate, if you like, a few more. But one extra feature here is the ability to leave behind a copy of the object during each of those transformations, and this is called power duplication. Now let's say we want to enhance our A3 poster here with our mountain-like silhouette down at the bottom by maybe adding like a sunrise type effect. And I'm actually taking this inspiration from a design of a t-shirt that I bought at the summit of a mountain last year in the German Austrian Alps. It's called the Zugspitze, I think that's how you pronounce it, where they had this really nice silhouette of a mountain and these sort of triangular shapes that fanned out behind it in red. It just produced this wonderful, very striking silhouette. So basically what we need is a series of long and thin triangles which are fanning outwards from a central point, and we can do all of this with power duplication. So I'm just going to scroll the page up so we have a little bit of room to move here, and what we're going to do is create ourselves a new layer to start with, because we're going to generate quite a few shapes in this instance. So once again, with our layers panel, let's bring up our new layer dialog box, and we'll call this one sunrise. Quite apt in my case that this one comes up as an orange color, but you can go ahead and choose any color in there for selection if you need to. And we'll click OK, and we'll make sure that this sits way down the back. This is actually going to sit behind everything but the backdrop color. As we did before, let's deselect, and if you like to, you can even lock all of the other layers so you don't accidentally create things in the wrong place. Another keyboard shortcut I'd like to show you. If we come down to our sunrise layer, this is the one that we wish to keep open, everything else we wish to lock. Well, what we can do is hold down your Option key or the Alt key on the PC and click in the lock area. That will actually unlock everything, but if we now click back in there, you'll see it locks every other layer apart from the current one. So that's a nice little shortcut to save you some time. Now that we're in this layer, what we'll do is come over to our rectangle tool and we'll just click anywhere and let go to bring up our dialog box, and we're going to generate a shape that's simply, let's do 20 millimeters wide and a height of 500. Now it's currently in blue, that'll be fine, we can change its color in a short while, but what we do want to do is align it into the center of our page, okay? So let's go back to our main selection tool. As before, we're on Align to Artboard, so what we'll do is do a horizontal center, and we may as well do a vertical as well. It does fit the entire document, and I'm just going to scale down a little bit here so we can see the entire shape. Now, we do want more of a triangular effect, more of like a fan, okay? So what I'm going to do is turn off your Smart Guides, Command U, Control U, and let's bring up our Direct Selection tool. Remember, that's the A key. What we basically want to do is tell the lower point to be thinner than the top point. You can do it either way. We can narrow down the bottom or we can widen the top. It's up to you. You can do both. It's totally free. What we'll do is click and drag across the bottom here so we isolate only those 2 points. Remember, those are solid. The top ones are hollow, therefore they're not selected. If we now hit the E key for free transform, it looks like we're going to scale the whole shape. But because we've only got the bottom 2 points highlighted, if we drag one of our central handles and hold down the Option key, again, that's your Alt key on the PC, because it will scale from the center. As we drag, you'll notice only the bottom 2 points are actually getting thinner. Okay, if we let go, you can see now that we've actually narrowed down the bottom. So just to make it more apparent, let's go back to the Direct Selection tool, select the top 2 points. Once again, E back to free transform, Option drag on the center and drag slightly outwards, and you'll notice that the top points, you can see very clearly there, those are scaling, but your bottom ones aren't. So the Direct Selection tool combined with free transform is actually very, very powerful. So I'm going to settle for a triangular-ish shape somewhere around there. Go back to the main selection tool at this point and click back on it so all of the points are highlighted. Very important at this stage. Now, with it positioned off the bottom here, I'm totally fine with that. What we want to do is our power transformation. So first off, we're going to rotate this to 90 degrees so it starts over here on the left-hand side, all right? So let's hit the R key for our rotation tool. As we know already, we wish to specify our anchor point, so we're going to need our Option key for that. Again, that's your Alt key on the PC. And we're going to position it somewhere down here at the bottom, okay? Simply click to bring up our dialog box and have it set to plus 90 degrees, and that's going to rotate it over here on the left. Go ahead and click OK. What we'll do now is come back down to the same place, hold down the same Option key, click to bring up the same dialog box, but this time we're going to put in minus 10 degrees, okay? Now if I just hit the Tab key to say a temporary OK, if you like, without leaving the dialog box, this is important, we can see we've got a movement of 10 degrees, but we do want to hit copy. Remember when we did the move dialog box earlier and we copied a guide by specifying 10 millimeters and hitting copy? This is exactly the same function. When we now click copy, we leave the original where it was, we have a new one that's 10 degrees rotated, and now if we do Command D or Control D to duplicate this, you see we can complete the entire fan of shapes all the way over to a total of 180 degrees. How cool is that? That's really very, very fun. Now I'm going to go back to the main selection tool. I'm going to click and drag across all of these at the bottom to highlight them. And whilst we're here, Command G or Control G to group them together. And whilst we're here, let's come up to the color panel and go ahead and fill those with white. Now they're automatically centered on the page, which is fine because we created them in alignment first, which is very, very good. You can always realign later if you want to, but do bear in mind you could also use your nudge key to move these up or down so we see more of the fans at the bottom. This is totally up to you where these go, but you can see there it's very easy to create an array of perfectly rotated items by simply using that copy button inside the dialog box. So I'll deselect that. I'm going to go ahead and lock that layer, and really to be safe we should also hide it because it's going to interfere with the rest of the layout here until we learn how to mask this a little bit later on. So just go ahead and turn off the visibility of that, and once again, because we've reached the end of this chapter, what we should do is save our document. Command S or Control S on your PC and make sure that everything we've done to this point is saved.